Hey, what's happening, Disney Viewers? Me, Guy01, and welcome to this week's first episode on the Walkthrough channel. This week, it's CM Punk against Seth Rollins. Now, this one's kind of a weird one because it's not a birthday versus, so why are we doing it? Well, we'll get to that. We did have a birthday this week, technically two, but it was the same birthday. The Bella Twins had their birthday this past week, on November 21st. They both turned 41. But I feel like I've done that match so many times over the years that it's just kind of weird to do it now. Also, I don't even remember if they're even in this game or not. I think they are, but I don't remember off the top of my head. Oh, what's that guy doing? Guy's clipping through the other guy. So why are we doing CM Punk and Seth Rollins? Well, we'll get to that at the end, because it really doesn't come into play until literally the closing segment of this week's SmackDown. So let's jump right in. Firstly, let's get into Raw. Raw began with the confrontation between the two women's War Games teams confronting each other. You had the four: Io Sky, Bianca Belair, Jade Cargill, and who else? And Naomi facing off against Liv Morgan, Nia Jax, Raquel Rodriguez, Tiffany Stratton, and Candice LeRae. So, if you're keeping track, that was 4 and 5. And then it was revealed that Rhea Ripley is the 5th member for the team that only had 4. She came out and then started a big brawl between the two teams. So, that was the whole point of that segment, to have Rhea Ripley be revealed as the final member of the team. The first match saw Rey Mysterio and Zelina Vega beat Chad Gable and Ivy Nile. Good to see, always good to see Zelina Vega gain more chances to actually wrestle. The next match saw Braun Breaker face Sheamus for the Intercontinental Championship. The match ended when Ludwig Kaiser came out and attacked both Braun Breaker and Sheamus to cause a DQ. The War Raiders beat Dominic Mysterio and Carlito. Afterwards, they were attacked by Finn Balor and JD McDonough, continuing the ongoing dissension within the Judgment Day, now focusing more on Finn Balor and Dominic Mysterio being the two conflicting forces, I guess you'd say. With Finn Balor basically just sending out Dominic Mysterio to get his butt whooped and not really trying to help. And speaking of Seth Rollins, the main event of Raw saw Seth Rollins face Bronson Reed. The match ended with Solo Sikoa. Ow! No! Not right away. Come on. The match ended when Solo Sikoa distracted Seth Rollins, which allowed Bronson Reed to hit a tsunami and several big moves on Seth Rollins in order to get the win. And this is kind of where we begin explaining why this match is the match for this week. But first of all, I think this is the quickest we've ever gone through Raw. Because that was it. That was everything for Raw, really. And we just started the actual match. Man, Raw moving to 2 hours has been great for me. Ow. Ow. So yeah, the reason we're here with Seth and CM Punk is because one of the big stories for the past week or so was who's going to be the final member of the men's War Games match, you know, the Bloodline Civil War match. Because so many people are like, everyone who could be a part of that match is already like preoccupied with something, so the most likely person that people were pointing to was Seth Rollins, and that was the person who Sami Zayn and everyone were trying to go after in order to join Roman's team for War Games, with Seth continually turning them down. And the reason Seth was such a likely candidate was not only was, you know, he like the only one not doing anything at Survivor Series, but with Bronson Reed joining the new Bloodlines team, Seth Rollins has been feuding with Bronson Reed for the past few weeks now, so you could do the story of he's joining the team not to help Roman, but just to get his hands on Reed. And it's just a continuation of that feud, and not, you know, Seth getting back involved with the Bloodline stuff. But the reason people didn't really like the idea of Seth joining the team is because people felt like he was like one of the main opponents of Roman Reigns during his Tribal Chief original Bloodline run. And after everything he went through fighting Roman and the Bloodline over the span of, 3-4 years, it's like this seems too quick for him to kind of forgive everything that happened and, suddenly team up with Roman and help him out. So that's why there was that confliction there. It's like, okay, there's got to be someone better than Seth. Because it just doesn't really make sense for him to forgive everything that happened just to get his hands on the Reed. He can do that kind of whenever. And even then, it doesn't seem like he would, go into this match to help Roman. Ow. My tailbone. I'm still stuffy, by the way, in case you can't tell. I mentioned this in the Arkham Knight video, but yeah. Still stuffy. I probably got about 3 or 4 more days of this, and then it'll hopefully go away. So, moving on to SmackDown. Chelsea Green beat Blair Davenport and Bianca Belair to advance in the Women's U.S. Championship tournament. She won after Bianca Belair was distracted by a video package, or not video package, but a shot of Jade Cargill beat up backstage. Now, this is interesting because Jade was actually part of the Women's U.S. title tournament, and after this attack, they took her out of it. So now we're going to figure out next week who's going to replace her in this tournament, in the next triple threat. Now, if you know WWE, especially the last couple years, whenever they need a female wrestler to be replaced and, a female wrestler to fill in, the one name that always comes up is Charlotte Flair. And given how long it's been since we've seen Charlotte, having her return, filling in for the U.S. Women's title tournament, that seems like a pretty likely time and good way to bring her back. And of course, if they bring her back to fill in for Jade, she might just run away with the whole thing. Which, I don't know how I feel about that. Charlotte's already has so many firsts to her name. I don't think she really needs another one. Also, I think people get really upset if she comes in, replaces Jade, and then becomes the first United States champion. I think people are going to be really upset by that. But we'll have to see. LA Knight beat Santos Escobar to retain the men's U.S. title. After the match, he was attacked by Shinsuke Nakamura, who came out during the match to attempt to distract LA Knight. Bayley and Naomi faced Tiffany Stratton and Candice LeRae. During the match, Io Sky, Raquel Rodriguez, Rhea Ripley, Liv Morgan all ran down, causing a DQ and a big brawl between all the members of the War Games, or most of the members at least, of the War Games match. So once again, that segment wasn't really about the match, it was more about, again, building hype for War Games. Cool. The next match saw Montez Ford beat Tommaso Ciampa. After the match, Tommaso Ciampa attacked Montez Ford out of frustration. This brought out Angelo Dawkins, who fought off Tommaso Ciampa and tried to calm him down. Tommaso Ciampa took out Dawkins. This then brought out Johnny Gargano, who again tried to calm down Ciampa. Ciampa pushed Johnny Gargano away, which then brought out the Motor City Machine Guns, and suddenly the numbers weren't looking too good for Ciampa, who walked off, leaving Gargano to be left with the Machine Guns, who brought him back to his feet. So they're really going ahead with this Ciampa basically losing his mind at the fact that they keep losing, and it seems that they're really pushing the likelihood of a split between #DIY. So we'll see when that blow off happens. If it happens, because I don't think, are they wrestling that Survivor Series? I don't remember. Hashtag Guy01. Man, are they even wrestling at Survivor Series, or are they off? Do they have the day off? Uh-oh. Ow. Don't tell me to shush. You shush and go nighty-night. Alright, come on, use your zone. See, there you go. And then the final segment of the night, Solo Sikoa's new bloodline came out after calling out Roman Reigns at the beginning of the show. Before he can even say a word, Solo that is, Roman Reigns' music hits, and the OG bloodline, Roman, the Usos, and Sami come out and confront Solo's new bloodline. They stand across the ring, Solo says some stuff, he then hands the microphone to Reigns, and then before Reigns can say anything, you hear, "Ladies and gentlemen," and Paul Heyman makes his return to a huge ovation. Now, I'm not gonna lie, I saw that coming. I mean, we knew Paul Heyman was coming back, and we knew it was gonna happen before Survivor Series or at Survivor Series, like during the War Games match, but most likely, I mean, it was more likely for it to happen before, so we knew it was coming. We knew that he was gonna return during this angle. During this month, especially. But yes, they had him return and then introduce the 5th member for the OG Bloodline team. And then this is where things got interesting because, you know, when you kind of assume, because we went into this, or at least I did, I mean, we knew Paul Heyman was going to be returning as part of this in the lead up to this War Games match. And once you kind of put that together, you assume that Paul Heyman's going to be the one who is responsible for finding that 5th member, whoever it ends up being. And, you know, you kind of think, okay, it's going to be a Paul Heyman guy, but it's like, who left in the company as a Paul Heyman guy? I mean, the initial reaction, at least for me, was like, are they going to bring back Brock? Like, is this how they bring back Brock? Paul Heyman comes out, brings out Lesnar, who then joins Roman. But then that whole goes with the whole, like, Seth thing, where it's like, Brock, along with Seth, was like one of Reigns' main rivals during his Tribal Chief run. So it seems weird that he would kind of, you know, suddenly forget all that and join and team up with Roman. So who does that leave? Well, the only other Paul Heyman guy left in the company, CM Punk. CM Punk comes out, joins Roman, and helps Roman and the Usos take out the new bloodline, with CM Punk and Roman Reigns staring each other down with Paul Heyman looking on to close out the show. So that's why we're doing CM Punk versus Seth. The guy that people thought was going to be the 5th man versus a guy who actually did become the 5th man. And yeah, I think it was actually a pretty good idea to go with Punk. Not only is it a big name to, you know, add some even more excitement to this match, but it also makes sense because he's like he's the only like big name main eventer in the company who doesn't have an issue with the bloodline. He's like one of the only like main event level people in WWE right now who has never feuded with Roman Reigns' bloodline. Because he came back, now I say that, but of course he was around during the final year of the bloodline story. At least Roman Reigns' you know, run as the tribal chief. But, you know, his business was always with other people, with Seth. Mostly Seth and Drew. Yeah, crap. Also, this is kind of a cool idea because, remember, he returned at Survivor Series last year. That was when he made his return at last year's Survivor Series, and now he's coming back and actually getting to wrestle at Survivor Series. Because yeah, he didn't really get to do that much before he got injured. He had his debut at Survivor Series. They had a few weeks of build-up to him coming back, wrestled Dominic Mysterio at a house show, and then had his first televised match at the Royal Rumble, which is where he got injured and was out for the next, like, several months. So yeah, he was never involved with the Bloodline storyline because he was injured for basically the entire last 6 months of Reigns' run as the head of the bloodline, head of the table. So it makes sense on that point to have him, you know, team up with Reigns, because no one else really would have made sense. Orton wouldn't make sense because he's had his issues with the OG bloodline. Owens definitely would have made sense because he's a heel right now, and again has also had his issues with both bloodlines, but more so with Reigns' bloodline. Ow. Hey, get off me. Oh crap. Ow. Boom. Alright. Time to finish this. Hey, no. Come here. Nighty night. So that does it for on SmackDown this week. So just a lot of build up to Survivor Series and War Games, and man, it's gonna be fun. The Bloodline War Games match, that's gonna be real fun to see where they go with that. And it's still good to see Paul Heyman back too. Not gonna lie, I almost kind of wish that they saved his return until the Go Home show before Survivor Series, because now I feel like they have to like find a way to fill the next week of TV with him back. I kind of wish they would have saved it for next SmackDown, and that's how they close out the show before, like the night before Survivor Series. Have Paul Heyman make a surprise return, CM Punk is announced as the 5th man, and then boom, next day we're at Survivor Series. Don't give it time to breathe. Just go from the reveal to the match. Or, I don't know, maybe that's just me. Maybe giving it time to breathe, letting it circulate, build up hype. Maybe that is the better plan, but I don't know, I feel like it just would have been so much more just spontaneous and exciting if it happened back to back. But maybe that's just me. But anyway, hope you guys enjoyed this video. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and make it for other time. Stay tuned for next week's Versus, and next week we'll continue our Batman Arkham Knight walkthrough. Let me know in the comments below what you guys thought of on SmackDown, what you guys think of CM Punk being the 5th man for the OG Bloodline team. And yeah, hope you guys enjoyed. This is Guy01, and CM Punk signing out. Bye guys.